Everyone, it's Sam from Squibble's Crochet Corner. I have my first craft show of the year this weekend, Spring at the Round Barn, which I actually did this event last year, so I'm super excited to be back. I think in terms of sales numbers, this was probably my best craft show that I've ever done. So I'm hoping I have a great year again this year. But with the upcoming craft show this weekend, I thought it would be a good idea to go through my journey and my process of getting ready for the craft show, setting up for the craft show. And this will be actually the first craft show that I'm going to be setting up all by myself. So we'll kind of see how that goes. And then at the end of the video, I will reflect back on my craft show and let you guys all know how my craft show went, my thoughts on it, and things that I thought went well with the craft show or maybe I could improve on a little bit. In all honesty, I always go back and forth on whether I really want to continue doing craft shows. Now that I've switched over to doing more pattern designing, I've kind of wrestled with, do I really want to do craft shows anymore? They take up a lot of time and energy, which I don't really know if I want to dedicate all that time and energy to crocheting things. I think sometimes I prefer designing more so than just crocheting and selling. But I don't know, we'll see. I just keep going back and forth. I am somewhat of an introvert, so sometimes I sign up for these craft shows and I'm like, why did I do this to myself? I don't know if I want to be around people for 9 hours on my day off, but it is what it is. Usually once I get there, everything goes okay. But yeah, so I hope you stick along on this journey while I get ready for my craft show, and we'll see how it goes. So first things first, I need to print out some product tags for my items that I'm going to be selling at my market. I have a Epson printer that my parents actually got for me for Christmas. And one thing to know about me is I am a horrible procrastinator, so of course I am waiting till the day before my market to set up my printer. But that is how it is, so I'm going to go ahead and get the printer all set up and show you my product tag design that I created in Canva. And if you haven't used Canva before, I highly recommend. I create so much stuff in Canva for social media, tags, flyers. There's really so much you can do in Canva. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on setting up my printer. So I'm filling the ink cartridge now, which this is actually kind of easy and it's surprisingly kind of fun to watch. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. And it just fills it right up. Squibble's also very intrigued by the printer as well. That was just a test run, which look how pretty that turned out. That actually turned out really good. The colors look really nice. Can't tell, I did laminate my product tags. So it's the next morning, and that means today is the first day of my market. So I have my car all packed up here and ready to go. It is in Lancaster, Ohio, which is about an hour, 45-minute drive for me. And it's a 2-day market, so I'm actually going to be staying in a hotel after the market completes today, just because I don't want to drive all the way back home after the market's done at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and get going, and once I get there, I will show you all my process of setting up. So I'll see you all soon. Alrighty, so I just made it, so I'm going to go ahead and get checked in and start setting up. Okay, so I got my tent all set up. I got super self-conscious about setting up a tripod to film myself setting up my tent, which probably isn't a bad thing because I was really struggling there by myself trying to set that up. But I think I might just film myself adding all my stuff onto my shelves and everything, and then I'll show you what my setup looks like after it's all done.
Have any like wire, do you?
Actually I think I do have some floral wire. How much do you need?
Not very much at all. What? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. No, not at all. Yeah, I did pack some.
Yeah, maybe a foot and a half.
Longer than that, or is that good? That works. You're welcome. If you need more, just let me know.
Okay. Mind if I have one more that length?
Yeah.
I've got two of them.
Oh, really?
Everything was a mess from Christmas. I was pulling stuff out of the trailer, and I'm like, why did I pack it away like that?
And that's why I haven't gone through all my stuff since last year either. You're welcome. So here's a farther out view of my setup. I'll kind of walk around and show you the different elements of my setup for today. Most of my display pieces I either found on Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, or Hobby Lobby. But yeah, I'm super excited about this setup. I'm happy with how it all came together. It was a little slow at times, so I got to spend some time crocheting. I usually like to bring a project to work on just in case it's slow. If it's busier, I won't crochet, but for now I will, and honestly sometimes it draws people into my booth. I decided to crochet some pots from my mini houseplant collection, so I'll build up some stock as it's a little bit slow right now. It's also a beautiful day, so I'm going to take advantage of this nice weather and crochet outside for a bit. Hey everyone, so I just got to my hotel, so I've completed day one of the craft show. It's been a long day. I'm sure I look pretty tired, so I think probably at this point I'm just going to take a shower, maybe watch some TV, just do a little bit of crocheting before I go to bed just to kind of wind down. But so far the first day went okay. It wasn't as good as last year. I made about $266 today, so I'm hoping I make a little bit more tomorrow just because I'd like to at least break even and make somewhat of a profit. That would be kind of nice. I'm pleasantly surprised with this Hampton Inn. I don't think I've stayed at a nicer hotel. I'll show you a little bit of what the room looks like, which is actually kind of nice for a pretty decent price. So I think I'll be comfy tonight and just get some rest and then have another long day tomorrow. So I have to be back at the fairgrounds at about, I'll probably try to get there around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Since I'm already all set up, I don't really need to do a whole lot other than just kind of reorganize things. But yeah, so far the first day went okay. There were some things that I thought would maybe sell a little bit better. For example, I thought the spring flowers from my spring flowers collection would sell pretty well, and I did not sell a single one. So I was kind of surprised by that. I think today most of the people that bought things just bought like some of the cheaper items, cheaper, smaller items. Not really anyone today seemed super interested in the more expensive items. So we'll see how tomorrow goes, but you know, it's every craft show is a learning experience, so Thank you all for sticking around today, and I will see you in the morning. Good night, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Today's day 2 of my craft show, so I'm hoping today's going to be a little bit better of a day. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get some breakfast downstairs and then head back over to my booth at the market. So I'll see you all there. So I decided to wear a dress today, wearing a sweatshirt for right now just because it's kind of cold outside. But of course I got a bunch of water on my sweatshirt from leaning over the sink in the bathroom. But it's fine, it'll dry. But I do just love this sweatshirt. It says easily distracted by yarn. You can get this sweatshirt at Cameron's Cute Creations. And this is probably one of my favorite sweatshirts. Don't mind me just eating my hotel breakfast. I made it. Let's start round 2 of my market. So I decided to pack up some of my items last night after I left. I was worried about them blowing over, and the wind was pretty bad yesterday, so I didn't want to lose any of my items or have them get dirty. So I'm just going to go reset up everything, and we'll get started for today. Here's my setup for day 2. I decided to move things around slightly to see if maybe that would help the spring flowers sell a little bit better, but we'll see. This is how I saw things from my point of view, which I kind of like that I'm hidden back here a little bit, but some people may say that you should be up front and center. I just feel more comfortable this way. And this is just my general area. There's a lot of great vendors around me. As I mentioned previously, the wind was terrible, so I think I had to pick up this thing about 50 times throughout the day. Not only was the wind a struggle, but it was actually pretty warm that day. It was about 80 degrees, so I decided to run over and grab some ice cream. It was a Dole strawberry ice cream, which I've never had it before, but it was really good. I was so exhausted after the market that I completely forgot to update you all on how day 2 went. I pretty much just packed up my car, drove home. Sorry, don't mind my cat ripping up a box right now. But pretty much just went straight home, took a shower, and went to bed. Are you done? But day 2 went much better. I'll share my final numbers and my best sellers with you all in a bit, but I just wanted to take a moment to kind of reflect on how the market went and some of my key takeaways. There were definitely some things that I thought went really well and some things that I could improve on for the future. So first I'm going to start with what went well with my market. This was actually my first market that I did totally by myself. Typically, I have my mom or my husband helping me, but this time they were both busy this weekend, so I took on the task of doing this by myself. Let me just say, setting up a tent by yourself is definitely not the easiest task, especially when it is 80 degrees and sunny outside. But hey, I was definitely happy it was not raining. But once I got that all set up, everything was a lot easier, and I'm actually really happy with how my setup all came together. Being by myself, I was also worried about what I was going to do if I had to go to the bathroom or eat. Thankfully, I did pre-plan a little bit and I packed a cooler with some food for some meals that I could eat while I was at my booth. And I just went to the bathroom at slower times and it actually worked out great. I also had some really good neighbors that kind of looked over my booth as I left for a few minutes. So in all, it all worked out. This was also my first market that I decided to promote my crochet patterns. I created a small little flyer that just had a QR code with a link to my website with my patterns. At every market, I always have someone that comes up that says either they're a crocheter or they know someone who crochets. So I thought that I would tap into this. I think a lot of people at markets that sell crochet goods can sometimes be turned off by these comments, but I always take it in stride and it honestly creates good conversation at my booth. Come here. Come here. Come on. Yes, come here. No. Come here. Come on. Stop it. With so many people learning to crochet and crocheting already, I figured why not also promote my patterns? Especially since I'm kind of steering clear of creating more finished items. I pretty much just do craft shows for fun at this point. My business is kind of taking a different direction than it was a couple years ago. But I did get a few people interested in my patterns, so I was very excited about that. So now on to what I think I could improve on and what surprised me at my market. First, I wish I would have dedicated a little bit more time to building up some stock. As I've mentioned previously, I am a terrible procrastinator when it comes to market prep. I think if I would have dedicated a little bit more time to building up some stock, I probably would have sold quite a bit more. As I've mentioned, I did this same market last year and I did bring a little bit more stuff with me and I did sell quite a bit more. So I think if I would have prepared, I would have probably done even better than I did. But partially this is because I have been focusing more on creating my patterns rather than finished items, which I don't think is a bad thing because this is the direction my business is kind of heading anyway. I've honestly wrestled back and forth on whether I still want to continue craft shows, but they're still just a fun thing for me to do at this point. But I did in fact dedicate quite a bit of time to crocheting some spring flowers because I was thinking that this might be one of my best sellers with spring and all. And I was actually quite surprised that I only sold 2 out of I think I brought 11 or 12 spring flowers. So I was a little bit surprised by that. But I did get a lot of nice comments about them and a couple people that were interested in crocheting from the pattern. So now we're going to talk about the numbers of my craft show. So I'm going to break it all down for you all. My goal was to make over $1,000, which unfortunately I did not meet that goal, but I actually did come pretty close. So in total, I earned $966.91. So this number includes taxes and expenses. So I'm going to subtract all of that so that way I can get my final profit for the show. So sales tax collected in total was $61.12. My vendor fee was $148.75. I also stayed in a hotel overnight, and that fee was $177.34. For gas, I drove about 228 miles and used a little over half a tank of gas, meaning I spent probably about $35 on gas. I paid about $21.82 in credit card processing fees. And I really should keep track of how much I spend on each item that I create in terms of materials, but I don't. So I'm just going to guesstimate that each item costs me about $1 to make. So in total, I sold 42 items, which means I spent about $42 on materials. So let's subtract all the expenses to get my net profit. So if we subtract all of those, my actual profit for the show was about $480.88. I worked a total of about 17 hours for the show, was breaking that down. And this also is not accounting for the hours that I put into actually physically making all of these items. So in total, I made about $28.29 per hour, which that's actually not too bad. My goal is to be around $30 to $40 an hour, so it's a little bit under, but it's actually not bad. Enough with math. Let's talk about some of my best sellers. So my best seller by far is always my car hanging plants. I don't think I've ever had a market where these haven't been my best seller. At this market, I sold a total of 7 car hanging plants, priced at each $25 for a total of $175. My second best seller was my potted mossy mushrooms, which I sold a total of 3 for $35 a piece for a total of $105. These actually sold pretty early on in my market, so I think if I would have dedicated more time to crocheting more of them, I probably would have sold even more. And my third best seller is actually from a pattern I have yet to release, so be on the lookout for a free pattern on my blog and channel here in the month of May. But I sold a total of 5 of these mini leafy plants, each priced at $10 for a total of $50. Overall, I really enjoyed this show. I think I'll definitely think about doing it again next year. I actually have an event with the same event organizers in September, so I definitely have a little bit more time to prepare for that one, and I've heard this one's even better than the spring one, so I'm very excited about that. But thank you all so much for coming with me on this market journey. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any ideas for future content, feel free to let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to stay updated on future content. And as always, have a great week and happy crocheting. Bye, everyone.